Hi Tim, thank you so much for giving me your time today. Tell me a little bit about your role. What does an architect do?
I'm a partner at Clegg Architects, and I'm also an architect. We're often employed we're essentially design buildings, right from the very start through to completion on site. Anything from a one-off house through to hundreds of houses across a site, sports centres, churches, any building type that you can think of. An architect is involved in the design and eventual construction of that building. I would say about 50% of my time is spent actually doing what you would imagine an architect does, designing buildings and being creative. And then about 50% of the time is split overseeing the team. I'm largely commenting or helping them on their design work. So that remains quite architectural in approach. And it's only probably about 25% of the time that is more managerial tasks, overseeing their work and making sure they've done things like timesheets and a more admin type process that we have to go through. And we'll work closely with a team of consultants on nearly all projects. So that might be a structural engineer, an ecologist, civil engineers who are looking at road design, and highways engineers. We'll have QSs, quantitative surveyors, who will tell us how much and how expensive buildings are. If you don't enjoy solving problems or bringing people together, then it's probably not the profession. But I really do enjoy all of those processes. I also really enjoy drawing things. I'd be happy just sitting at my desk and kind of sketching and drawing all day long.
Can you tell me about the journey of an architect? It isn't your usual A levels in 3 or 4 years doing a degree at uni, is it?
It is a very long process. After GCSEs and A levels, I went straight to university, where I did a 3-year degree in architecture. You then have a minimum of 1 year working, and then back to uni for 2 years, where I did a diploma in architecture. That's then followed by another year out, and then a final year, which is a kind of postgraduate diploma in architecture. At the end of that 7-year period, you can call yourself an architect. As a professional architect, I'm required to do, I think it's 25 hours of core personal development each year. And that's all self-initiated and can be everything from kind of reading a book or a magazine to watching an episode of Grand Designs on TV. We occasionally send ourselves on kind of training courses on management, thinking about ways to motivate different people. It's not something that when I imagine the role of an architect or what I'd be doing, that it's not something I ever imagined I would need to think about, but it's something that as a person who's responsible for other people, you do need to kind of learn about those processes. It's very much a career where you're constantly kind of refreshing your knowledge or learning new skills.
For a student at school at the moment, what subjects that they're currently doing are relevant in your role?
So architecture is a profession that is creative. Art and design and technology are two subjects that are probably quite key. But on top of that, you have things like maths. You're constantly checking dimensions and measuring plans. Physics, you're making sure a building stands up. Geography, you're looking at the conditions of the ground and the way the weather affects projects. Through to history, you're researching the history of a building or an area, and even things like religious education. If you're working on a church or a religious building, understanding how those processes and religions work is part of the role of an architect. So there's almost not a subject in school that isn't relevant to what we do on a fairly regular basis. So we're always looking for kind of creative people who can share their ideas or kind of articulate your ideas.
And finally, what does it look like for your industry in the future?
So architecture is a profession that does evolve constantly. We've gone from drawing boards to much more computer use. We're modelling buildings in 3 dimensions now rather than just drawing flat 2D plans and elevations. We use drones to go out and take photos of sites, and we really do try and embrace whatever technology comes along and is available to us.
Brilliant, Tim. Thank you so much for your time. It's been fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you.